This tape is a 1-hour segment on British steam trains or British steam railways that were photographed in 1997 during my trip to England, and it is a 4-segment tape. The first segment will be on the North York Moors Railway, which are full-gauge trains. This is a railway about 18 miles long, located up in Yorkshire. The next will be another full-gauge railway showing some run-bys and switchings. This is known as the Lakeside Railway, located in the Lake District at the bottom of Lake Windermere. Then we will do a very short run-by on the little Welsh trains, or the little trains of Wales. And then our final segment will be on the Ravenglass Miniature Railway. The North York Moors Railway runs from the market town of Pickering, which is located northeast of the big city of York, and goes for about 18 miles
coming over on the far side,
up into the town of Gromount, which is located near the North Sea at Whitby. Sit back and enjoy. We have a southbound freighter running south from Gromount, and it's passing through the village of Gothland, and this is the famous Aidensfield that you see on the Heartbeat series on TV.
I guess.
We have a northbound locomotive running backwards because of a lack of turntables on either end of the line. And it is also pulling into Aidensfield. It will make a stop here and then head north.
Coming up from Pickering, I guess.
We are standing on the overpass bridge at Gothland, looking down on this train as she pulls in. This locomotive, of course, is headed for Gromount.
Here comes the one the other way.
We have a southbound locomotive headed down towards Pickering now.
We went down on British Rail.
I don't know whether this is stopping.
Let's stop him. I'm going to ride the back end of it now.
Traveling south from Gothland down towards Pickering, you go through some beautiful countryside. as we wind down through the valley at Levisham. And occasionally you get a chance to see the locomotive as it winds around. In this case, this one is running back and forward in the beautiful valley there.
I've got the locomotive beautifully right now. Got a beautiful shot of it. Now it's gone. Find the locomotive. There she is. Now we're straightening out and I've lost her. We have arrived, ladies.
The southern terminus of this railway, of course, is at Pickering. They have a beautiful old station that they're in the process of restoring. The next stage on this station, it's similar on both sides. It is missing its original roof, and that will eventually be restored as well.
On the bridge.
The locomotives disconnect from their consists at Pickering, also at Gromount, and then they bypass the train, and then the locomotive backs up to the other end of the consist, and you have a new train starting up, heading northwards towards Gothland and Gromount.
You notice the new bridge up there? You've seen this scene before. Coach is here.
These are some of the cars that still have to be restored that are sitting around the yards in Pickering, and as we pull out and head north through that beautiful Levisham Valley, we head once again towards Gothland.
It's gone.
It's southern now.
Our return to Gothland shows some beautiful locomotives heading southward, and one, of course, is this large Pacific that we just have spotted.
On this one.
We're now heading out of Gothland north towards Gromount, and as we look at the locomotive here, we can see quite a bit of activity.
So we're mistaken last night. They put the lights on when we're going through.
At Gromount, we see some activity, and at this point, we see the locomotive that just brought that train in, working its way back so it can couple up to the other end of the same train. This was, of course, a locomotive that just brought us up from Gothland to Gromount.
But I don't see Thomas the tank engine smiling at me. I think she's going to go down into the tunnel. Yep. That's the famous Gromount Tunnel. Well, the loco is connecting up to the consist.
If we sit back now, we'll see the run-by of the same train heading southbound. This time, the locomotive headed in the proper direction, and the 901. Sit back and enjoy this. The gates have opened up, and the locomotive is getting ready to pull on.
We got her coming now.
After we see this run by, you'll see some switching going on. And we'll also see another Great Western tank deck steamer lining up to take out its consist on the other parallel track.
I could see a smoke. We heard a toot. The gates are closing. Something coming in this direction. We hear the rumbling.
We have a English shunter type switcher
You mean after all
coming
of
out of
that?
that tunnel in a moment. I think they just play with this one.
A switcher, I guess we'd call that. We have the shunter or switcher doing its thing. Tie into that string of cars, I think. We have a diesel at one end and a steamer at the other.
This switcher is a tank-type locomotive being used to haul a dining train south known as the Moorlander. And it is a standard Great Western type line locomotive, although it is a tank type.
Here he comes, I guess.
And you'll see him hooking up to his consist, namely the Moorlander, and we'll watch her pull out. The consist that this locomotive hauls is a very well appointed dining table with very, very expensive coaches in it. And you'll see it coming out of the station right now.
We got that darn diesel in the way. You'll hear him chugging in a minute. We're waiting for the next train to come to us. We'll be leaving in 5 minutes or so.
Our next train now is going to be southbound, and we are actually going to ride it back down to Pickering. It is coming in backwards into the station. The locomotive will be aimed in the proper direction for heading south.
Yeah. It's dropped now. There is only one left. Why? Look this way, lady. Dad?
Yep,
We're going here, 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 here. And
we're leaving Gromont.
you already...
And away we go.
This is not...
And beyond that smoke,
We have another look at the trains running in both directions. The one we're currently looking at is a southbound locomotive running front and forward. In the opposite direction, you'll see another train in there, and that locomotive is set up to run backwards.
this is the one we just came in. And the other one's going to move in a minute. Well, this one looks like it's maybe running back and forward.
The locomotive in this scene is a British Rail Pacific, and you can see the two trains pulling out. The Pacific is now running north towards Gromont backwards, and of course the other one was running south down towards Pickering. Gothland seems to be about 2/3 of the
The
way
one that's
up
going
between
uphill is the one
Pickering.
you hear chugging, not this one. And so it's back to Gothland or Edensfield. You can still hear that southbound one chugging away merrily over there. Here comes one now.
The train we have coming into the station now is southbound, and we're actually going to ride this one back to Pickering, and you'll get a chance to see some more scenes of the locomotive from the cars.
Yes! I guess we're almost ready to go. I'm looking up and down the station at Gothland. Our locomotive is up there. Talk about elegant.
We get a chance to see those snazzy coaches on the Moorlander dining train, and as you can see, they're quite elegant.
We're going to the north to Gromont. They are moving, or we are?
They are.
I don't think so.
At the end of lunch, because all they've got are...
We're getting suggestions.
Yeah.
Flowers, they're all champers. Special one. Asleep.
That could be the guy.
As we head south, we get some more shots of the locomotive as it twists around the winding rail line heading down towards Lewisham, and eventually we will end up in Pickering. of course, is the locomotive that we spent most of our time traveling behind, the 901. We're now pulling into Lewisham Station, and you'll actually see us switch over to the left because, as you know, everything in England goes to the left, at which point we will stop. And then we'll make a quick unloading and reloading of passengers, and then finally head for Pickering.
No, that is it.
Oh, yeah, look, man.
Now we'll have another look at the beautiful Lewisham Valley, Newtondale section, and then we will eventually end up in Pickering. This North York Moors Railway is a very, very scenic line. We are now pulling into the yard at Pickering, and the station will unfold as we roll by. Now are coming to the end of the segment on the North York Moors Railway, and this will be followed by our next segment, which is the Lakeside Railway at Lake Windermere.
Coming into Pickering. Doing the crawling now, I guess. There she goes. I got some good footage of it.
Our locomotive now is switching and relocating at the north end of the line.
It's nice to have had an afternoon with you guys whenever we could squeeze it in.
Enjoyed it.
Valve gear is 3 across the front. Well, let's get up. We're downwind of this beautiful old loco. And I can feel the cinders in my eyes.
And once more, 901 is lining up to take a northbound train up to Gromount. My friend Jeff Lewis here has decided to see if he could push the locomotive, and he got absolutely nowhere.
We got Jeff and Robert here. There she goes.
You shouldn't be realising not flashing on the street floor.
Oh, we've ridden this one before.
The North York Moors Railway. We are now in the second segment of this B, and this is the Lakeside Railway. It runs from the bottom end of Windermere Water, which is in the Lake District of England, and goes into the countryside for about 8 miles, ends at one of the major roads down there, and then comes back. It meets these steamers as they come in.
The train any moment.
The train and its consist are pulling into the station just behind the steamship docks. It's a little 060 tanker. The line is standard
Little
gauge.
tanker, I guess.
And what it will do is bypass its consist, hook up to the other end, and take it out backwards. And of course, then it'll come back in here again, frontward. So let's watch this little Lakeside Lake Express locomotive and its consist.
Must run backwards. Unless he goes in reverse the way they do on the North York Moors. A little tank engine. Looks like he's disconnected. He'll do the split here and come by us.
Again, a similar maneuver to that on the North York Moors, bypassing your consist and hooking up at the other end.
Somebody will have to throw the switch, I guess. And here he comes. There she is. She's going to bypass. To the other end. Let's walk it down and see. There he is, still bypassing his train. He's coming back to tie into the train now. He's going to take it out back end first. The bump.
And finally, this locomotive pulls out of the station and heads down to its other terminus, which is approximately 7 miles away. The Lakeside Railway. The next segment, C, is of the one of the little trains of Wales. There's about half a dozen of these in England, and they're a 2-foot gauge. This particular one is the Porthmadog and Festiniog Railway, which operates on an 18-mile stretch of 2-foot gauge track. We have a chance here to watch a run-by, and we'll suggest you sit back and enjoy this segment.
Locomotive and the coaches. There's the Porthmadog station.
The little locomotive here is called Blanche.
Does okay with the locomotive, but it sort of ruins the...
As I said earlier, there are half a dozen of these railways in Wales. This one is up in the north end near Carnarvon Castle.
Here. There's the tail end of the consist. Way over there. Around the bend. I guess she's getting ready to pull out. Here she comes. One of the great little trains of Wales.
The Porthmadog and Festiniog Railway.
There she goes. Well, we didn't get a chance to ride her, but at least we got her.
You can see the beautiful Welsh mountains as this train disappears into the distance.
You can still hear her chugging off in the distance. Porthmadog and Festiniog Railway.
The final segment of this tape, D, is on the Ravenglass Miniature Railway, and this railway is located on the west coast of the Lake District. It runs from Ravenglass on the coast about 7 or 8 miles up into the
railway here.
Countryside. It's pretty well an uphill ride to Eskdale. And these are miniature locomotives. They are approximately 1/3 scale. The track gauge is 15 inches. The particular locomotive that we're looking at now is the River Esk, and I had a chance to ride this on the footplate all the way up and all the way back. This locomotive is about 75 years old, and it's in magnificent condition. While standing around admiring this locomotive, the train driver, a chap whose first name was Steve, asked me if I wanted to come up for a ride on the footplate. And I said, yes, I would be glad to. Now, riding in this footplate consists of sitting in that tender alongside the engineer. So sit back and enjoy this segment, the Ravenglass and Eskdale Miniature Railway.
Coming back with the locomotive now. Look at the controls on this little fella. There's a little diesel here. I guess we're stoking her up and getting her ready to go.
It took about 6 shovelfuls to get this tree 6-7 miles up the mountainside.
"75-year-old machine." I've been allowed to ride on the locomotive, which I think is a fantastic experience. Getting warm in here, and we're getting ready to go. Looks like we're about to pull out again. So as we bid adieu to the fine community of Ravenglass here, this run is pretty straight, I understand. Is that right?
Yeah.
Fairly straight? Yeah. I remember seeing somebody had done a video on it, and I guess they rode up here.
Yeah, there's quite a few videos about it.
Well, you're about to get another one in Canada. I'll send it back to you. How's that sound? Oh, that's magnificent. What do you estimate the horsepower?
For the main portion of the line, it is pretty well uphill all the way. There are points at which the locomotive is barely laboring. It's pulling about a dozen cars. And there's other areas where it's really flying. See the mountains of the Lake District in the background. These were carved out by glaciers coming down from the north. In fact, most of the lakes are north-south in very, very deep canyons. We're about to pull into our very first stop, which is Muncaster Mill.
We have passengers here at Muncaster Mill. Looking the other way. We're at Muncaster Mill. Looks like they're having fish and chips, judging by their bags.
flying now. The next station is Urton Road, and we pick up this locomotive southbound. It's brand new.
That's a magnificent machine. There's our tow.
That particular locomotive bears the name Northern Rock, and a replica of this was built, and eventually a second replica for a Japanese theme park. At this point, we pick up a wayward sheep who just doesn't have enough sense to get out of the way, but the locomotive engineer felt he would get out of the way, so he never slowed down. The further up we climb, the more impressive the scenery. We're about to enter another station where we'll get another downtown locomotive, and we'll have seen a total of 3 of the 5 on this particular day.
Coming up to a bend here. Going into the siding, are we?
Yeah, we're passing on the train here.
Okay. Now we're going to do the siding.
As do the cars, so do the locomotives pass on the left, and we'll see another locomotive. This one is about 75 years old as well.
Phase 1, 2,
Here he comes, I guess. Here's the road. I guess our engineer has gone off. Way off in the distance you can see the back end of the other loco and the engineer there.
Now these locomotives talk to each other by radio and back to the base station at Ravenglass. However, in this case, the radio packed up, and working our way up the mountainside, we had to stop and use telephones along the way. And coming back down the mountain, we had a portable transmitter.
The man with the best view in here. Another station here, the King George Inn.
Thank you.
Okay.
Now this station is called the Green.
We think we're such
Now the
great
next
engineers
station will be
today.
the top end of the line with a stop before we get there to telephone back to base.
Well, I'll tell you what. Well, I guess we've kind of reached the crest right here, haven't we?
That throttle is wide open, and that little locomotive has everything it can do to climb this crest.
Excited here. We're stopping here now to get authority to move into the next section. He's going up here now to get authority to move into the next section. I guess we're at the upper terminal, are we?
Finally, we make it up to the terminal of Eskdale. The locomotives are turned around on a manual turntable, aimed in the right direction. They bypass their consists, back up and pick up their
I guess we're
trains, and
coming into
away we
Eskdale.
go.
I guess we're on the upper turntable. We're going to pull on by and reverse the locomotive here.
Using the safety brake system, there is a compressor located in the mechanism of the locomotive and also one in the tender, and that's that glump, glump, glump sound you hear. And it has to overcome the air pressure in order for the brakes to release.
You can hear the compressor.
A few more shovelfuls of coal, and we're headed back down the mountainside.
No, it's still hooked up, honest. We have fans. Thank you for inviting me. Yeah. Must be that time.
They still get mixed up.
Well, as long as they don't go after the goats, I guess we're all right.
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
Well, we're on our way down. And the old girl is chugging away merrily here. Downhill. There's our group riding down. None of your partners aboard, I guess. Down we go. I just hope I got enough tape left. The next one.
On the downbound trip, the other locomotive was offline, but we did catch the Northern Rock going uphill.
That is a beauty, that one. They built that one themselves here. Well, I guess we'll do our thing and say goodbye. So long. Touching the furrow down.
We are coming to the end of this tape now. I hope you did enjoy it. And our look at British Rail. Most of these locomotives are, most of these railways and locomotives are operated by volunteers, and I think they've done a marvelous job in England of restoring their steam train heritage.